Good morning and a very warm welcome to the Brahmakumaris World Spiritual University, Romford Centre in London, England. And this is a topic which is very near and dear to my heart, which is the wonder of yoga. And we don't normally take to the word yoga so comfortably when we understand the meaning of it, because yoga is normally described as union, yoke or link, and when the mind is connected to something, then one can say that you're having yoga with it, you're having a union with it, which makes one understand really the problems with a lot of sorrow in the external world, because we're basically absorbing all the sorrow through the memory, through what we remember. So we're having a yoga with it, we're having a union or a link with it. And of course, the stronger the bond with the yoga of the mind with that particular situation, circumstance, then we call it a problem. It becomes a big problem when we are fully connected to something of a negative nature or something that we feel helpless towards. And so yoga is basically a situation, a circumstance of the whole world, because everyone's mind is connected to something as soon as their eyes awake first thing in the morning. Then there's this connection with the stresses and the problems of the day before, the week before. Someone said something that we can't get out of our system, and so yoga is a worldwide crisis, and it's also a worldwide solution. Because if it's connected to the right things, connected to very positive and powerful things, then we become according to that. So the word yoga is being removed at the present time in the Brahmakumaris World Spiritual University with a feeling of a relationship. That's a relationship with the self, or a yoke with the self, a union with the self, or a union with the Supreme Being. And this is the basic reason why people aren't actually resolving problems, and the problems keep coming back at them again and again, is because the consciousness isn't being changed. And the consciousness basically needs to be changed from the external, the role conscious, or the body conscious, the matter conscious, to a more soul conscious state. And soul conscious state means that you're becoming aware of yourself as using matter. You're becoming aware of yourself as observing situations. You're becoming aware of yourself as more of a guest into a situation, just passing through, as it were, rather than be the in bondage to the actual situation, or the burden of the problem is being carried because we think that we're the servant of it, or we think we're the slave to it, or we think we are not the masters of it. And in actual fact, the human being, the being itself, is the master of all situations. They've only got to use the right method at the right time. Excuse me. It's very cold in England, and it's very cold this morning. So you might be having nice warm weather if you're in India or abroad, but it's very chilly here at the present time. But anyway, the word yoga is quite famous because people use it as a means to improve the physical body, the health of the physical body, which is fine. But when you're actually dealing with a situation, you're still carrying all the labels with you that you were born to, and the soul has a much longer journey than that. This is just part of the story of the human soul. This is only a temporary period of time. There are many parts that we've played, and we've gone through many different roles as well. And you can guarantee, you can bet your bottom dollar that we were very much aware of our labels in those incarnations as well, where we were aware of the name and the form. And our yoga was basically with our body, which ages and becomes older and older, and we feel that we're dying with the body, but in actual fact we always remain young at heart. Internally we're always the youth, really. It's just the body becomes older and it doesn't work so well. So when our yoga is very much to do with the vanity of the body, then obviously there'll be a highs and lows. There'll be the high when the body is attractive and when the body is useful, when we're good at things, and there'll be a down when the body is getting decrepit and old and falling apart at the seams. And so the yoga of the mind gets caught up in our body, other people's bodies, other people's situations, our situations, and so the stress and the worry and the increase of thoughts and even depression and mental illness come about because the mind becomes completely absorbed by these things. So the mind is really the carrier. It creates a bridge between the actual object or the situation, and they are all objects. Even if it's a situation, it's still an object in the mind, which is staying with the person and staying with the being, because the mind is transferring it even into our dream state. And so the mind is the bridge. The intellect is the one that actually closes that bridge and opens another doorway or bridge to we say a higher consciousness, but it's a true consciousness. It's the consciousness that you once had, that I once had, and we're redeeming that once again. When we're talking about remembering something, it's we're remembering. It's a research. We're researching it. In other words, we already know about this, but we don't know that we know. We've forgotten what we know. And so the highest form of yoga is with the self and also the Supreme Being. And the Supreme Being is different to the human being because the Supreme Being, A, doesn't have any weaknesses, and B, doesn't reside in this dimension. Although many so-called authorities have said that God is omnipresent, the Supreme Being being omnipresent, in actual fact the mind needs a place to go to redeem its qualities. So the qualities, whatever the qualities you're missing, are in the Supreme Being. The battery's been discharged of the human being because we've become discharged by matter and believing ourselves to be the servant of matter, in servitude to matter. And in actual fact, we're the creators of the story rather than cremators of our story and our destiny. So you move away from being aware of yourself as the subservient one and become to take mastery of that. But you do need the qualities of the Supreme Being. That's why when the vibration is right, when it's nice and quiet, you should take your mind away from this world and take it back to the Supreme Being. And I say back to the Supreme Being because the human soul, the consciousness, has been there before. It's been with the Supreme Being before. It knows who the Supreme Being is, and the Supreme Being's form is a source point of light. And if you can imagine a source point of white light in a golden red dimension, then you're pretty much set for meditation. Really, this golden red dimension is Nirvana or Paramdham or Brahmlok, which is the Hindi name for it. So that's the original home of the soul, where the soul came from to play its parts, and it's picked up all this debris. Basically, it's changed its consciousness from the being in the human form to the basically human being, which is just become the body, really, where scientists say that the being is actually the brain. And of course the brain is just like a computer which we use, and we need to use it from here at the centre of the forehead. So our brain computer is used. If the brain computer fails on us, then we can't use the body very well. So people really don't have they're not really mentally disabled, but they're physically disabled because they're not able to use the brain properly because there's something altered in the brain cells, and it's not allowing, the computer's not functioning properly, and you need the computer to actually think correctly, to judge correctly, to discriminate correctly. So we use this brain computer every day, morning till night, and eventually if we have enough negativity in our life and it's affecting us, it's not a problem having negativity in our life as long as it's not affecting us. That's the main problem, that it's having a major effect on us, so that our thoughts are like a whirlwind, like a typhoon of thoughts constantly cascading through the mind, and the more you try not to think about that situation or that circumstance, then the more you would be inclined to think about it. As they say, if you were told not to think of a pink elephant, you would start to think of a pink elephant. So the mind needs a consciousness change, and we change it from the body conscious to the soul conscious state, and we link mind to mind from here at the centre of the forehead. We feel ourselves, we become aware of ourselves as beings of peaceful, powerful and pure energy, and we connect to the Supreme Being. So you're absorbing those qualities, whatever qualities you need, whether it be peace, patience, love, humility, strength, power, all the lion qualities and the lamb-like qualities are all in the Supreme Being. And the more we turn our mind to the Supreme Being, the more those qualities start to filter through. It's only a question of thinking correctly. Thinking incorrectly is thinking about the situation too much. Because when you think about a situation too much, then there's no space for you to actually have a clear mind. So you need the pathway clear. It has to be a clear link between the self and the Supreme Being. And this will also be good for others as well, because it becomes a power that you start to feel coming into the mind and warming the mind, securing the mind, making you feel less needy of the security of money, food, oxygen and all the necessities. They'll come automatically. The stronger the link is with the source, with the Supreme Being. We can't do it alone. Don't go alone. Take the support of the Supreme Being, who we say to everyone who comes to our centres that he's the Father of all souls. The Supreme Being is, we call Baba. Baba is Father. Shiva is benefactor. So you'll hear the word Shiv Baba when you do any research on the Brahma Kumaris World Spirit University. And Shiv Baba is the father of every soul, every human soul, every human being, our spiritual father, is different to the physical father, because Shiv Baba, the Supreme Being, is also your father's father as well, because he's also a soul in a body. So we play these roles, but in actual fact we're a world family. We're all the same. We all are beings of energy, beings of light, and our world family that we have is, when you strip away the skin, the physical state, the belief systems, and we're all the same. We are tiny points of infinitesimal light residing at the centre of the forehead, taken these bodies on loan, and every human soul does the same thing. They've taken their body on loan and they're just playing a role. Start to see them as just playing a role. It is just a role. It's not that important to you that you should become stressed by someone else's role. That's their role that they're playing. That's their journey. But the connection, or the yoga, the relationship, the union, the link with the Supreme Being, and taking these qualities that are always filtering from this powerful being of divine energy. Once it's being taken to you, it will also affect the people around you, so their energies will begin to change. Their mindsets will begin to change. They'll begin to soften. They'll become more respectful, more humble, kinder, more cooperative. But it's for you to not be a servant to someone else's cooperation, because basically if they help you, they're also helping themselves, because they're creating good karma. So the wonder of yoga really is it changes the consciousness back to its original form. You're not creating anything new. You're just going back to your original form of soul consciousnness, which is the happiest time that you've ever been, even though those times have been forgotten now, because we've been remembering so much in between that time and this time, that we've forgotten who we are, where we are, whose children we are, and how powerful we are. So you should always wake up in the morning, and the first thought in the morning should be, I am a powerful soul, I am a peaceful soul, I am a wondrous soul. So as long as you connect with yourself as a being, you can say these words of, normally people are afraid of the ego getting the better of them, and pride always coming before the fall, because they believe that if they become too big for their boots, then they'll have a downfall. Pride always comes before the fall. But in reality, when you think of yourself as a being, and you're aware of being a powerful soul, your awareness starts to grow. You start to grow into that, just like a child grows out of his childhood and into adulthood. You start to become more mature with your thinking. You start to think very clearly that you are a powerful being, because you cannot be not a powerful being, because you're a child of the highest, most powerful being that's ever existed, the one that doesn't change moods, doesn't change attitudes, is constant. His supply line is unique, because it will always be constant. Human beings will change. No, excuse me. No matter how much you rely on people, all of a sudden your friend can become your foe, and even your foe can become your friend, because people's state of moods and attitudes change so quickly. But with the Supreme Being, Baba, that doesn't change at all. He's always constantly making that flow happen for the human soul to feel uplifted. And whenever you're down in the dumps You can turn your mind towards Baba. Imagine yourself in a lap of love, a lap of peace, a lap of joy, and you start to feel a sense of freedom about your reality. So this is just a short introduction really to the soul and the Supreme Soul. It's a beautiful link, it's a point to point where you're becoming aware of yourself as a source point of light. We don't go it alone because we've got a lot of debris to clean up and to clear up from the past. So we put Baba first whenever there's an altercation with another person. We bring the remembrance of the Supreme Being between ourselves and that person, and it's like Baba's come into the room. It's like your Baba is being taken with you wherever you go, so you don't feel alone in any way. Remember, the word alone is also all one, so you feel at one with the Supreme Being. So let's do some meditation on this subject, and we call it breaking and linking, a breaking and linking meditation. So just relaxing your physical body, and if you can, keep your eyes open, because this is like a brave new world, a brave new consciousness that is able to keep their eyes open and focus on the source while you're looking at everyone, while you're working around. You're keeping a connection with the source. And at other times you can sit and do nothing except turn your mind towards this powerful being of energy. So relax the body, sit peacefully, feel yourself to be withdrawing from the external form of the physical body into an awareness of being a shining star of light. Eyes are the windows that you see through. Ears are what you listen through. They are just the organs of the body that's around you. And be the peaceful, powerful being, separate to the material body. Turning the mind far, far away to a dimension of golden red light, a dimension of golden red peace. Focus attention on a divine point of light that is emanating so much love towards you personally, coming towards you through the pathway that your mind has created, broken away. Feel yourself to be broken away from the material form of the body, and becoming strongly connected to this source point of divine, beautiful, powerful energy, a being that has been calling your being into the lap of love, the lap of light. Surround yourself with security of love. Have faith. Apply your faith and trust in this being of divine energy. And as your trust increases in him, the trust and belief in yourself becomes more powerful. Whatever you express becomes a part of you. Stay in this thought of being a pure, powerful, stable, unshakable, unmovable, determined soul. Om Shanti.